Well, good evening. Ladies, lasses, and lassos, welcome to the click. I do hope you're having an amazing day because you smell just as amazing. So today we're going to talk about something slightly different than I usually do on this channel. You may have noticed over the past couple of days, there has been a bit of a situation, a bit of an upstir among mainstream YouTube channels. This was because Corey, a big gaming channel on YouTube, had a video of the mortuary assistant get age-gated. Now, age-gating on YouTube is not a new concept, but it's pretty bad. It basically completely kills a video. You have to be logged in to watch it, it can't be monetized most of the time, and it gets completely removed from any sort of algorithm or homepages or what have you. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, it's because his channel was the only one to receive an age gate for this said video, even though there were countless channels showing the exact same clips as he did. And he made a video where he called YouTube out on their inconsistencies of enforcing guidelines, which I think is pretty fair.
The allegations I am levying towards YouTube are extremely serious, and I'm taking this video extremely seriously. YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two.
Which is hardly a new concept for YouTube, but I think it's something that needs to be spoken up about, and I really like seeing more people on YouTube chiming in on this because it makes us feel less isolated. It makes you feel less in the wrong because it's very easy to just sit and feel like you were alone in this whole mess and you're just getting punished by some hidden boogeyman at YouTube. Well, in fact, it seems to be the entire system that has a lot of issues. Corey then reaches out to YouTube via his partner manager.
They came back and they removed my age restriction. They took it off after they already rejected my appeal. I sent them the clip of Markiplier's video that has the same thing, and they removed it.
Why did he have to use Markiplier's video as a measure of his own innocence? Why was he the single channel targeted about this when it's such a mainstream popular game that everyone else is playing completely without issue?
YouTube then decides to double down and just age-gates everything as his tradition per YouTube operations. Oh, glory.
His video also goes into more detail and talks about how this seems to happen on repeat. Whenever he comes back to YouTube and gets into trending, YouTube finds something to nitpick and punish him for. It's like, oh gee, you're getting into recommended again. Well, how about the video from 3 years ago? Huh? That was naughty. Bad boy. And his channel gets bumped down again. Now, YouTube's odd reinforcement of guidelines and age restrictions and demonetization is not news on this website, and I figured I would talk a bit about my own experience regarding this issue as well, because I have had a lot of experience over the past 3 years, and I think it's healthy to talk about it and just summarize how common these issues are with YouTube. Our story starts back in late 2019, around Christmas. I have just made the decision to go full-time YouTube. My channel is starting to do better in the algorithm. It's growing in subscribers. I'm actually making real money off of it, to the point where I can actually pay the bills. I take some time to think about this, but finally I decided it's time to give my dream job a shot. I hand in my papers to work. I keep making videos. Christmas is approaching. Life is good. Until I get woken up by a phone call from a friend at 4 a.m. in the morning. The day before Christmas, telling me that my channel is gone. 1 week after I handed in my papers at work, my channel was deleted in the middle of the night. I had no prior strikes on my channel, no warnings, nothing that would make you guess that my channel was even close to being just nuked out of existence. Even the email YouTube sent to me informing me about this decision wasn't even properly formatted. I spoke to no human about this. I just got a botted email that was borked in itself. That was it. I would lie if I said that this didn't mess me up for the longest time. That day, I called in sick to work. I was crying in my bed all morning. I did not want to leave my bedroom until this was resolved, because for some reason I felt so incredibly ashamed about what had happened. It felt like I had committed a crime and I was punished for it. And it was so embarrassing because I was so proud of my channel to be able to go full time with my job, and all of a sudden I had nothing to show for it. I went from having 2 jobs, basically YouTube and my previous engineering position, to having nothing. Just like that, from one day to the next. My girlfriend came over to comfort me, and I eventually made it. out of bed to try to live a normal life. I spent the next 3 weeks fighting to get my channel back. Appeal after appeal, rejected. No human would talk to me. I couldn't even contact YouTube support chat because my channel and my account was locked out. At this time, I was so early in my career that I didn't even have a proper Twitter following. I had no way to make noise. I was just sitting there, lost in the void. No way of combating it. Eventually, after 3 weeks of basically a walking nightmare of anxiety and doubt and having no idea what the future would hold, my channel came back. And I didn't find out about this because YouTube sent me a nice email saying like, oh, we're so sorry about this, here's your channel back, or, information about, hey, good news, we reversed the decision. Complete silence. I only found out my channel was back because I got a ping from my Discord bot about a video being released on my channel that I had scheduled before it was deleted 3 weeks prior. I spent the next month after this desperately building up my momentum so I could actually support myself with the channel I had decided to go full-time with. I don't often talk about money on my platforms, but for a frame of reference, when I decided to take YouTube full-time, my channel was making, a few $100s a day. Nothing crazy, but a significant uptick from the job I had previously. After my channel came back, when I was still struggling to get it back into the algorithm again, I was making something like $40, $50 a day. Looking back on this now, I can say that, losing out on a month of revenue and another month where I basically had to build the channel back up doesn't matter so much after a few years into the business. 1 month of lost revenue isn't a huge deal. But the thing that messed me up for a long time is that I would not feel safe on YouTube. I would be so paranoid about everything. I did not want to send in videos for manual review to get them monetized because I was so afraid that some random reviewer on YouTube would see this appeal and just nuke my whole channel again and go through the whole thing one more time. I would wake up in sweat at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, desperately fumbling for my phone, checking if my channel was still there. It was horrible. It was so bad. The lack of trust and the paranoia and the anxiety that comes from something like this. The next 10 months or so on YouTube was pretty smooth sailing. Nothing much happened. I was just making videos as normal until I got another strike. And I don't particularly agree with the strike. It was very strange. They basically justified the strike when I tried to get some answers out of them, like, oh, no, it's too sexual. And I tried to get to the bottom of the strike, and the answer I got was basically, oh, some things in this video allude to adult themes. Not directly showing adult themes even, just alluding to them. YouTube operates on a 3-strike system, where you can get 3 strikes, and if those pile up, your channel is bye-bye, and they each time out after 3 months. Your very first strike, however, is just a warning, but this warning never goes away. So to this day, I still have a bleeping warning sign on the top of my dashboard that says, hey, you have a warning! You are a wanted criminal of Skyrim, from 2 years ago. Yeah, I have to see that every single day, and there's no way to remove it. Of course, this also creates a separate issue. Every time I get something false flagged on YouTube nowadays, my channel gets locked out. I can't do anything until the strike times out, or until it's resolved. I had this happen a couple of times, mainly through the COVID craze, where YouTube would strike my videos for medical misinformation, for saying stuff like, hey, wearing masks is a good idea. Oh, he's mentioning COVID, medical misinformation. And I would have a false strike on my channel and was locked out for 2 days. Completely messed up my stream schedule, and that's why I pretty much exclusively stream on Twitch nowadays. About 6 months later, I got another strike on a video called Why Women Live Longer. Basically a bunch of dudes doing silly things and, classic fail videos. It got struck for dangerous content and reinforcing dangerous behavior or something like that. I was so sure that I was going to get this one appealed. I was so certain that there's nothing in this video that they can deem that bad to keep it down. But they did. And when I pressed for a bit longer, I found out there's more specific clips they had problems with. You know what the best part is? Those clips are on YouTube. They are trending videos on YouTube with millions of views. But when I had them in a reaction compilation, then it's a strikeable offense. So basically what YouTube told me with this video takedown is that not even trending videos from YouTube are safe to show on YouTube.
What?
Gee, so I was locked out of my channel for a week. That was fun. I had one of the most ridiculous things happen recently. I received a copyright strike on a video. One of those strikes that actually takes effect after 7 days. So I have 7 days to fix it. Or to remove the video myself, which basically agrees to the copyright takedown, but I avoid the actual strike, but losing out on my video. Now this strike in question was on, I believe, a 40-minute long video. And it provided 0 timestamps. I didn't have the name of the claimant. I didn't have a timestamp of what they claimed that they owned. I had no information apart from one random Gmail address. That was it. When I searched the name of this individual based on the email and information I received, which was very limited, it just came up with some photo editing application. That was it. The name was the same as a misspelling of a popular app. So nothing came up when I Googled for this. So I started thinking, is this just a scam? Are they pretending to be this photo editing software just going around randomly claiming YouTube videos? But then my brain did a little bit of a genius tinkering. Instead of trying to search for the name, I just searched for the Gmail. And lo and behold, I get some answers. This email is actually pasted in the About section of this individual's socials. So I find their Twitter account and I find their webpage. Apparently, the individual who had struck me is not a representative of a photo editing company or anything like that. They run a small photography studio in South Korea. And I'm like, okay, well, now at least it's narrowed down a little bit. That's cool. But why on earth am I getting struck by some freelance photographer from Korea? I have not shown any photographies in this video even. It's memes and cartoons. What is going on? So I start scrolling through their socials, and eventually I find a character that looks familiar. I'm like, And I cross-reference it to the folder of like the 100 memes I have in that video, and I realized that one of their photographies had been cropped out and placed into a meme where it looks like a cartoon. It shows for 3 seconds in a 40-minute long video. And at this point, I have spent basically an entire workday doing this detective work, right? But now I have finally got it. I have realized who did it, and the road forward is easy, right? So I just reach out to this individual and say, hey there, I saw that you struck my video. Wouldn't it be easier if I just cut these 3 seconds out in a YouTube editor and you reverse the strikes and we're both happy? No response. Now, to be clear, I don't want anyone go looking into this individual. I do not believe they have been malicious in the least. I just don't think they really understand how complicated and pain in the butt YouTube systems is to deal with. And they probably assumed that I was a malicious actor as well. So I have no qualms with this individual whatsoever. We have resolved our issues and everything is fine and dandy. But I received no reply from this individual. And the video is ticking down. I'm now down to like 5 or 6 days until my video is struck down and my channel receives a strike. So I publicly tagged them on Twitter and said, hey, this is kind of, time is of the essence. Can we get a resolution to this quite quickly? And they replied and say, oh, for sure, I'll reply to your DM. And they did. So we talked it out in DMs. They agreed to remove the strike if I agreed to cut out the 3 seconds containing their photography. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I think this falls under fair use because it has been transformed so many times already. However, I'm not interested in taking this to court over a 3-second clip in a video. And also, I would have removed it anyway if they requested it, just out of respect for the artist. But anyway, everything is fine and dandy. Nice end to the story, am I right? Oh, it's so wholesome and sweet. No. 2 days pass. Nothing has happened. The strike is still there. The video is now only a few days from getting struck down. I reach out to this individual again and say, hey, the strike is still there. What is going on? And they say, no, it's reversed. I promise. And I am like, this is weird. Why is it taking this long to reverse a strike that has a very, very distinct time ticker on it? That's strange. I reach out to YouTube support and I'm like, hey, this strike on this video should have been removed. What's going on? YouTube says they'll look into it. The next day, I get an email from YouTube, and the individual on the other end tells me, the person who struck your channel has not made a redaction of the strike. At this time, my brain is kind of spinning, right? I'm like, hold on. So YouTube has now told me, the YouTube representative that has access to the systems have now actively told me this person is lying. They have issued a strike on my channel to harm my content and my livelihood. They are lying about reversing the strike even after we get an agreement, so I don't have time to fix the strike in any other way. I'm kind of upset. I'm like, who is this person? What on earth are they doing? So my thoughts started running through my head, like, do I make a big public stink about this? Do I basically, throw around my weight as some kind of public figure to get them to stop basically using a broken system to harass my channel? Like, and lying about it? Like, I'm pretty angry. But before I do anything drastic, I decide to reach out to this person one last time. And I say, hey, YouTube told me you haven't actually redacted this. What's going on? And they tell me, no, I told YouTube to redact it. Here is the email correspondence. And they send me the correspondence in Korean, but I just run it through an image translator that says, hey, can you redact this one? And YouTube says, confirmed, we are redacting it. So the YouTube support person I talked to almost made me cancel someone. So at this point, I'm not particularly happy. And it's only a couple of days left until my video is struck down. I reach out to YouTube and I say, hey, this is redacted. Here's the email exchange. What are you doing? YouTube tells me, oh, it's in Korean. Can you send us the English copy? What English copy? This is a correspondence between a Korean creator and your Korean office. What makes you think that an English correspondence even exists? And why aren't you the one researching this who actually has access to the systems behind the scenes? So instead of dragging this out, I just run it through the same image translator again and post it to the support person again and say, hey, here it is. It's in English. About the same time, I get an email from YouTube that tells me, hey, good news. We have resolved this strike and it's now gone. Check it out. Here's the link. And the link they posted links me to the community guidelines section, which of course doesn't have any strikes. We were talking about a copyright strike all this time, which is still there. So I respond to this person, probably more unpleasantly than I should have at the time, admittedly, and I say, you're not even looking at the right thing. Can you please at least read the previous email? Apparently, this person had done the right thing. They just linked the wrong page and there was a delay until the copyright strike was removed. So this person actually did do a good job, they just didn't communicate it very well. So, it was resolved at the end of the day, finally. And right now, I'm dealing with an age restriction on a video that I uploaded 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten any answers. And it's age-gated automatically. When I re-upload it, get age-gated within 7 minutes, even after appeal, even though it's a 20-minute long video. Somehow, they review it in 7 minutes. That's fascinating. And they won't tell me which part of the video gets it age-gated. So there's nothing I can do. The only choices I have to fix this video is either let it go, just forget about it, ignore, all the time and effort and payments I put into the video. I can wait on YouTube in hopes that they get back to me with some kind of tangible response. Or I can cut through the video myself, make 15 different versions where I cut out various clips and rearrange it, and try to figure out which part of the video is the one getting flagged. But click, are there no good news whatsoever? Oh my god, I actually got an email from YouTube recently that I was pretty excited about. So I don't have a partner manager on YouTube. I don't know when you are supposed to get one, but I don't have one. But they reached out to me about a partnership manager school or something like that. And I'm like, oh, am I actually going to have a flesh person on YouTube I can reach out to? That's amazing. Wow, this is so cool. So I replied to them and say, yes, of course I'm interested. Wow, dear YouTube, hello, nice to meet you. I'll shake both your hands at the same time. I hear back from them and they say, oh, great, Clicky Thicky. So here is the suggestions that the system made for your channel. Stream more, have more premieres, and drive in more memberships. Basically, if you want to make more money, make more money. Gee. Now, of course, this tells me that they haven't actually done any sort of deep dive on my channel. If you had looked through my links for 5 seconds, you would see that I stream on Twitch, pretty much for the reason that YouTube deleted my channel out of nowhere 3 years ago, so I'm too paranoid to have all my content in one place. They would also have seen that I have a Patreon, I have merchandise pages, and also my content isn't particularly fitting for premieres, right? So this disappoints me a bit. It tells me that this is actually not a person that has done any sort of deep dive on my channel. This is just an automated system. But then I figure, wait a second, this person actually claims to be a rep on YouTube. Maybe I can talk to them about some interesting opportunities. So I tell them, I have most of the stuff figured out. Thank you very much for reaching out to me about this. However, if something like YouTube gaming for streaming was on the table, you know, then we could talk biz, you know. I have like 1 million subs and stuff, you know. How about we get down to them biz, eh? I can probably offer something. They tell me, no, these are the improvements the system suggested. Let me get this straight for a second. So the one time I actually have a human, a person of flesh and blood from YouTube, who reaches out to me, they are just blindly following the bots anyway? What's the point? I don't need a bot to tell me I've streamed 0 times on YouTube over the last 30 days. It's sort of a no-brainer. I was so happy about this email. I felt so special. I was like, I'm gonna be in with YouTube now. I'm gonna be one of the special big boys. And like, oh no, it's just another bot. Indirectly, it's just a human following a bot. God damn it. Oh. So that's my little rant on the inconsistencies and weird stuff you have to deal with as a YouTube creator. So YouTube, to me, in like a weird combination, is both the best job and the worst job I have ever had. It brings the most freedom, the most benefits, the most potential of any job I have ever had. It also brings by far the most anxiety, the most like uncertainty, and the most paranoia of any job I've ever had. So take the good with the bad, I guess, but I do hope these problems get fixed, because most of these issues shouldn't exist. It should be relatively easy to treat YouTubers equally across the board. And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking for anything ridiculous. I'm not asking to get away with things that are obviously against guidelines or endangering people or whatever it might be. I'm simply asking that these rules are enforced equally and consistently. Because right now, it's not that we want to break rules. No YouTuber want to break rules. It's not like, ooh, here's a guideline, let me just break that real quick and endanger my entire livelihood. No one does that. We do it by accident, because there is no transparency, we don't know exactly what the rules mean, and it's highly inconsistent. Some channels can do some things and get away with it scot-free, other channels get nuked out of existence, others get age-gated, and we never exactly get a clear answer of why that is. Thank you for listening. This video is a bit ranty and different. I just want to get my little story out there and also show my support for this situation that is currently going on. I do hope it gets better, and for any YouTuber watching this, I suppose the takeaway is that a lot of people are dealing with this. You're not alone. YouTube is a big, weird, scary place, and hopefully it gets better for all of us in the near future. Take care, and I do hope you have an amazing day. Goodbye.